Sovereign Syndicate is a story-driven Victorian-era steampunk role-playing game. You will question reality within minutes of starting the game. If you're not careful, the world may vanish for a few hours. I finished the game in 14 hours, but your time might vary between 8 and 20 hours based on your reading speed. Sovereign Syndicate is the first game of indie game developer Crimson Herring Studios. The game releases on January 15, 2024, and will be a wild story, so you best hold on to your top hat. Today we will look at how engaging the story is without giving away any spoilers. The gameplay is easy to understand but needs some polish. What stands out most is how they tackle challenges on a limited budget. I received a free advance copy from Crimson Herring in return for this review. You can buy Sovereign Syndicate in the Steam store. Here are the system requirements that you'll need to play the game without any problems. This is a story-driven game where the story takes center stage. You can explore different endings and paths with multiple playthroughs. Get ready, as 90% of this game involves reading and only 10% involves exploring the world. The game is more about the choices you make for the characters. The story is true steampunk and takes place in East London. Werewolves, minotaurs, dwarves, and automatons make up a diverse cast of characters. There are 3 main characters: Atticus, Clara, and Teddy. You will play each of them as the story unfolds. They occupy the same world, so what one character does affects the others. One of the highlights for me was playing as an automaton. They added this classic steampunk element and it works well. You will get to decide the fate of your automaton. The automaton was an endearing character and was a sweet side story to complete. Plot has a solid 3-act structure. After Act 1's setup, the story picks up in Act 2 with challenges up until you reach the climax. Unfortunately, they missed some opportunities with the puzzles. For example, early on, Clara reads about different meanings of how to use a fan. I was so sure that this info could be important and help with the story, but nothing came of it. Most puzzles were so linear, and they told you exactly where to go and what to do if you read with comprehension. I enjoyed exploring the world, but the map was small. The developers chose only sets on which to let the story shine and move forward. There is little fluff. Halfway through, I finished exploring most of the locations and focused on following the storyline. At first, it was difficult to discern what quests were the main quests versus side quests. The quests stayed active as you switched characters, making it hard to figure out the right order. There were a few quests that I completed because I failed to meet the goal. This made me sad because it felt like wasted time. As the game went on and the story showed what each character wanted, it was easier to focus on the main quest. For an indie game company, they had some unique solutions to challenging problems. Instead of using animated cutscenes, they used a comic book layout. They introduced action by moving the sketches onto the screen. This was an effective solution. I'm sure with a large budget, they could have done more animation and voiceovers. The card mechanics and character stats didn't seem to impact the story's progression. In the end, I ignored those 2 systems and made choices based on what I wanted to happen. There was only one time when I found the ethical decision hard to make. I would have liked it if they showed some stats at the end of the chapter to see how many people made similar decisions. The user interface was super easy to use, but the annoying part is having to click on your dialogue selection and then click the button with the dots. So clicking twice for what should be a single action. This is a quality of life improvement that I hope they will consider improving. There is no combat system, so you have no control over how a fight turns out. The fact that there is no combat system is okay, but it will have a hard time competing against Baldur's Gate 3. I praise Crimson Herring Studios for its strong storytelling elements in Sovereign Syndicate. They have accomplished what they set out to do. If you are into RPGs for the story and you love the steampunk mystery genre, then you are going to fall in love with this indie game. If, however, you're looking for an action combat RPG like Baldur's Gate 3, then this will be a hard pass for you. Now, I happen to love stories and anything steampunk, so for me, this was a play, which is also why I finished the game. Now, for those looking for a complete playthrough of the game, leaving all decisions in my hand, you should watch this full playthrough.